been fed a fantasy, the flashy lifestyles, the easy money, the overnight millionaires. It's all a carefully crafted illusion. The reality? Getting rich is ugly. It's hard. And if you're looking for quick fixes or easy shortcuts, this isn't for you. But if you're still here, then you're ready for the truth. I'm not here to hype you up with empty promises. I'm here to show you what really happens behind the scenes of wealth, what it takes, what it costs, and why most people will never make it. In the next 15 minutes, I'm breaking down 12 brutal truths about getting rich. Truths that most people ignore, deny, or simply can't handle. This will either open your eyes or make you walk away. The choice is yours. Number 1, your morals will be tested and you'll probably fail. Getting rich isn't just about making money, it's about making choices, and not the easy ones. At some point, you'll face a decision that forces you to choose between profit and principle. Will you cut corners to get ahead? Keep quiet when honesty could cost you everything? Look the other way while someone else pays the price for your success? No one talks about this part. They show the mansions, the luxury, the power. But what they don't tell you is that every level of wealth comes with a price. And that price isn't always measured in dollars. At first it's small, a white lie, a little compromise, a decision that makes you uncomfortable, but just once. Then it happens again and again, until one day you wake up, look in the mirror and realize you don't even recognize yourself. Because the real cost of success, it's not what you buy, it's what you're willing to sell. And if you're not careful, that thing will be you. Number 2, the world hates the rich, including you. At first, people love a success story. They admire the grind, the late nights, the sacrifices, until you actually make it. Then everything changes. Your hard work gets dismissed as luck, your discipline is mistaken for privilege, and your wealth is labeled unfair. Suddenly, the same people who once supported you start whispering behind your back, questioning if you really deserve what you have. It won't matter if you started with nothing. It won't matter if you worked harder than everyone else. The second you break free from the cycle of struggle, you become the villain in someone else's story. Strangers will judge you without knowing you. Friends will distance themselves. Some will celebrate your success in public but resent you in private. Even worse, you might start to doubt yourself. Society has a way of making the rich feel guilty for winning. It tells you that ambition is greed, that financial success must come at someone else's expense. The pressure to justify your wealth, to prove you're still one of the good ones, will weigh on you. And no matter how much you give back, no matter how fair you play the game, there will always be people waiting to see you fail. Because here's the truth. Money doesn't buy admiration. It buys targets. The more you have, the more people will want to take you down. And if you're not ready for that, you're not ready to be rich. Number 3, your why will haunt you. To give your family a better life, to prove everyone wrong, to escape struggle. Whatever your reason is, hold on to it, because one day it will turn on you. At first, your why fuels you. It's the fire that keeps you up at night, the force that makes you push harder, sacrifice more, do whatever it takes. It silences doubt. It drowns out fear. It convinces you that every struggle, every setback, every sleepless night is worth it. Because one day you'll make it. One day you'll have enough. But when you finally get there, when the money starts flowing, when the struggle fades, that hunger won't just disappear. Instead, it lingers, it shifts, it demands more success, more growth, more wins. Because the finish line you were chasing, it moves. The numbers you once dreamed about, they don't excite you anymore. The life you swore would make you happy, it feels ordinary. And suddenly you're running a race with no end, chasing a goal you can't even define. You thought wealth would bring peace, but now it feels like a trap. You'll start questioning yourself. Was it ever really about money? Was it ever enough? Why don't I feel the way I thought I would? And before you know it, the same drive that got you here becomes the weight that won't let you rest. The thing that once gave you purpose now keeps you restless. Because the truth is, the hunger never leaves. It just changes shape. And if you're not careful, it'll consume you. Number 4, You'll outgrow every relationship. The friends you grew up with, you won't relate to them anymore. The conversations will feel empty, the weekends wasted. You'll try to hold on, but deep down, you'll know you've outgrown them. Your partner? They might not understand your ambition. What once felt like love could turn into resentment. They'll say you've changed, that you're always working, that you care more about money than time together. And maybe they're right. Even the people who once guided you, mentors, advisors, they'll become your ceiling instead of your foundation. You'll realize their advice was meant for who you were, not who you're becoming. So you'll make the trade. Love for leverage, connection for growth, comfort for progress. You'll move up, but fewer people will come with you. And when you're standing at the top, looking down at everything you've built, you'll ask yourself one question: was it worth it? Number 5. Success is random, but failure isn't. That's the part no one tells you. Hard work doesn't guarantee success. Playing by the rules won't always get you ahead. Doing everything right doesn't mean it'll work out. The truth is, success isn't fair. It never was. The system isn't rigged. It's unpredictable. You could have the best plan, the perfect timing, all the right moves, and still watch it all fall apart. You could do everything better than the next person and still lose. That's the game. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. And sometimes those results don't make sense. But failure? Failure is predictable. Failure happens when you do nothing, when you hesitate, when you wait for the right time instead of making your own, when you let setbacks define you instead of refine you. Because the market doesn't care about your effort. It doesn't care how badly you want it. Your struggles, your excuses, your problems, they don't move the numbers. The world doesn't stop spinning just because you're tired. And luck? Luck is what winners call strategy and what losers blame when they quit. Number 6, you'll become addicted to the grind. At first, it's a thrill. That first big win feels like a high. The first million, like proof you made it. Like validation that all the late nights, the sacrifices, the risks, it was all worth it. But here's the problem. It doesn't stop there. You tell yourself, just a little more. Another deal, another milestone, another goalpost. You hit one target, and before you can even celebrate, your eyes are already on the next. The hunger doesn't fade, it grows. What used to feel impossible now feels like the bare minimum. What once felt like success now just feels like another step. And the more you climb, the less it satisfies you. The rush fades. The stakes rise, the pressure never lets up. Now it's not just about winning, it's about not losing, not slowing down, not slipping. Because the moment you stop moving, the moment you stop growing, it feels like you're falling. Then one day you wake up and realize you're not working for wealth anymore. You're working for the chase, the game, the need to stay ahead. Your mind is exhausted, your body is worn down, your personal life is a blur. But stopping feels like failure, feels like losing everything you built, feels like becoming one of them. The ones who settled, who stopped, who let go. And that's the cruelest part of success. It doesn't free you, it hooks you, it rewires you. It convinces you that enough isn't real, that slowing down is dangerous, that satisfaction is a myth. Because once you're in, you never really leave. Number 7, freedom is a lie. The rich aren't free, they're owned. Owned by expectations, by responsibilities, by the fear that everything they built could disappear overnight. You think escaping the 9-to-5 means freedom? Try running a business where the pressure never stops, where every decision isn't just about you, it affects employees, investors, partners, and 100 other moving pieces. Try managing wealth where one wrong move, one bad investment, or one unexpected shift in the market could erase everything overnight. Try waking up every day knowing you have more to lose than anyone else. The higher you climb, the heavier it gets. The risks don't just grow, they multiply. The competition isn't just strong, it's ruthless. There's always someone younger, hungrier, smarter, waiting for you to slip. And when you have more, you don't just fight to win, you fight to protect, to maintain, to survive. And the world, it's watching, admiring, envying, waiting for the moment you falter, for the headline that says you lost it all. Because nothing captures attention like a king losing his crown. You didn't escape the system, you just upgraded your prison. The walls are higher, the stakes are greater, and the chains are heavier. The only difference? The bars are made of gold. Number 8, you'll betray your own values. You start with principles, a vision, a promise to do things the right way. You tell yourself you'll build something different, something honest, something you can be proud of. But when the pressure hits, when profits are on the line, those values start to bend. That ethical business you swore to build? You'll justify cutting corners just this once, just to get through the rough patch, just to stay competitive. That promise to give back? You'll push it to someday, when things are more stable, when you have more breathing room, when it's easier. That line you swore you'd never cross, it starts looking negotiable. Because if everyone else is doing it, how bad can it really be? At first it's small, a compromise here, a shortcut there, a decision you'd never have considered a few years ago. But now it feels necessary. Now it feels like part of the game. And success has a way of testing you. The higher you climb, the more justifications you find. The more you tell yourself it's temporary, that you'll go back to doing things the right way once you've made it. But the longer you play the game, the more you start playing by its rules. Then one day you'll wake up and realize you didn't sell out all at once. It happened little by little, inch by inch, choice by choice. And by the time you notice, the person you wanted to be is already gone. Number 9, the middle class will gaslight you. They'll say you're too obsessed with money, that you're chasing something unrealistic, that you should be happy with what you have. But here's the truth. They're not really talking about you. They're talking about themselves. Your ambition forces them to question their own choices. Your success reminds them of everything they never tried for. It's easier for them to call you greedy than to admit they settled. It's easier to call you lucky than to face the fact that they never took the risk. They'll tell you to slow down, to be realistic. But what they really mean is, don't leave me behind. Don't make me feel like I could have done more. And the hardest part? These won't be strangers. They'll be friends, family, people you love, the very ones who should be cheering you on. Instead, they'll try to hold you back, not out of malice, but out of fear. Fear that your success will expose their inaction, that your courage will make their complacency harder to ignore. Because the crabs in the bucket don't just pull down strangers, they pull down their own, not because they hate them, but because they don't know how to let them go. So you'll have a choice. Stay in the bucket, where it's familiar and safe, or climb, knowing that breaking free means leaving some behind. Number 10, you'll miss the struggle, the late nights grinding, the thrill of chasing something bigger, the fire that kept you moving. One day it'll be gone. The struggle you once hated, you'll miss it. Because when every bill is paid, when the numbers in your bank account stop mattering, when comfort replaces hunger, then what? You'll look back at the days when $100 felt like a fortune, when every win meant something, when there was still something to prove, still a reason to push harder. Back when the fight gave your life meaning. But here's the part no one tells you. Money doesn't fill the void. It makes it bigger. At first you won't notice. You'll enjoy the rewards, the freedom, the ability to say yes to anything. But soon you'll realize the thrill is gone. That rush you got from the hustle, it fades. The urgency that once kept you moving, it's replaced by a strange kind of emptiness. So you try to fill it. Bigger goals, bigger risks. You chase more. Not because you need it, but because stopping feels worse. But no amount of money can replace the hunger that got you here. And if you're not ready for that, you'll learn the hard way that having everything can feel just as empty as having nothing. Maybe even worse. Number 11, no one will care about your sacrifice. You missed birthdays, skipped holidays, walked away from things you once loved, all for the dream of success. And when you finally get there, don't expect applause. No one will say, I admire your sacrifice. No one will thank you for the years you gave up. Instead, they'll ask, can you help me out? At first, you won't mind. After all, you worked this hard to be in a position to say yes. But then the asks will keep coming. More hands will reach out. More people will expect a piece of what you built, as if they struggled alongside you. And when you finally say no, that's when the whispers start. You've changed. Money made you different. You forgot where you came from. They won't see the years of sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the relationships that crumbled along the way. They'll only see what you have now. And to them, success looks easy when they weren't there for the struggle. That's the reality. Sacrifice is lonely. The struggle is silent. And the reward? It's not a trophy. It's not recognition. It's knowing you did what most people weren't willing to do. Because in the end, success doesn't come with a standing ovation. It comes with a price tag. And the cruelest part? You'll be the only one who truly knows what it cost. Number 12. The finish line doesn't exist. You tell yourself, just a little more. First, it's 1,000,000, then 10, then 100. But no matter how high the number climbs, it never feels like enough. That's because wealth isn't a destination. It's a treadmill. The moment you reach one goal, another appears. The bar keeps moving, the stakes keep rising, and the chase never stops. And here's the real trap. You won't want to stop. The grind that once felt like ambition will turn into an addiction. Not to the money itself, but to the pursuit of more. At first, it's about security. Then it's about power. Then it's about proving something to yourself, to the world, to the version of you that once had nothing. You'll convince yourself you're still in control, but deep down, you'll know the truth. You don't own the game anymore. The game owns you. Your wins won't feel like wins, just checkpoints on an endless path. You'll hit milestones that once felt impossible, only to find they don't satisfy you. The thrill fades faster. The rush gets weaker. And worst of all, you'll forget why you started in the first place. Because stepping off the treadmill, that would mean facing something far scarier than failure. The silence that comes when there's nothing left to chase. And so, you keep running, pushing harder, chasing faster. Because stopping, that's the part that terrifies you the most. These 12 truths aren't here to scare you. They're here to challenge you, to make you look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I built for this? Because money won't save you. It won't heal your wounds. It won't erase your doubts. If anything, it magnifies them. Wealth doesn't make you someone new. It reveals who you've been all along. And when you finally see yourself, stripped of excuses, stripped of struggle, stripped of everything you thought defined you, will you like what's left? That's the real question. And the answer depends on who you were before the money.